So I'm thinking of starting a new series where I tackle coding problems every single day. This is to improve myself as a developer as well as to prep myself for interviews. By all means, I'm not a coding expert. I actually just started coding about a year ago. So definitely, if you guys have other solutions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Definitely happy to brainstorm and discuss. So for today's problem, I copied this from just daily coding problem. It's a problem asked by Google. This is my first time seeing it. So we'll just see how this goes. So given a list of numbers and a number k, return whether any two numbers from the list add up to k. For example, given an array 10, 15, 3, 7, and k of 17, return true since 10 plus 7 is 17. Can you do this in one pass? Okay, so actually this problem is pretty straightforward. I think I've actually probably seen this problem before, but you could definitely do this in one pass where you essentially store the complementary value into a hash map so that as you're looping through the elements in the array, if you've seen the value already or if you've seen that complement, then you can just return true. So what I mean is like in this example, for 10, you want to store 7 into a hash map so that as we're looping through it, once we see 7, that means we saw 10, and that means we could just return true. Otherwise, if you go through the entire for loop, then you should just return false. Yeah, okay, so I think we can just start coding this up. So function add up to k. This should receive an array in k. So we'll initialize the hash map as we discussed before. We want to loop through this array. Whoops. And what we want to do is if the hash map contains this value, then we want to return true. Otherwise, we want to store the complement. So that would be k minus the element at this index. And we want to store this complement is true. Otherwise, if we've gone through the entire for loop, then we want to just return false. Yeah. So let me just quickly run through this. So initialize the hash map. So we're looping through the elements in the array for let I equals 0, I less than array.length, I plus plus. For the first element, 10, if the hash map contains it, then return true, which we don't. So what we want to do is we want to store the complement, which is 7. And that's what this does. It will store into the hash map, and it will continue looping to the next element. In this example, it would be storing 2. For 3, would be likewise would be storing 14. And finally, once we hit 7, because we stored 7, because from the 10, then we just return true. Yeah. Otherwise, if we've gone through the entire for loop, return false. So I think this should be pretty straightforward. So we can just test this. Just want to copy this. And add up to k. So, oh, I just realized I should probably console log this like what's here so that we can just see it. Cool. So works. We can just test this with another number that should return false. Yep, it should return false. Great. So I think this is pretty straightforward. This would have a time complexity of O of n because you still need to loop through the entire array. It is one pass though, which is why it's O of n. And space complexity of also O of n. because worst case scenario is you actually would have to store every element in this array if for whatever reason there's like almost no match, or if the match occurs like towards the end of the array. So it would be O of n. Yeah, okay, so let me know what you guys think. Feel free to drop down alternate solutions, or if you guys see anything wrong with this, definitely happy to discuss. Thanks, guys.